Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and welcome to the daily scan for Monday, June 23rd, 2014. All right, Friday, there weren't any announcements. It was quadruple witching, and it was a snoozer, let me tell you. Of course, you probably know that too. Snoozer meaning there wasn't a lot of jockeying around. If anything, it was jockeying around the open price to see how close we could end up closing to the open. And we'll kind of take a peek at that as we go through the scan. But for today, we have at 9:45 the PMI Manufacturing Index flash and existing home sales at 10. And that's about it for today for scheduled market affecting announcements. All right, the futures across the pond over in Asia mostly bearish, and in Europe same story, mostly bearish and pretty bearish anyway. I was kind of interested in this particular article here, 10 things snack food companies won't tell you, and I would be willing to bet there's probably a lot more than 10. Although some of these 10, I kind of knew what they were when I looked at it, but I would say for the most part, I don't think they quite covered everything in there. Okay, so, and we have, the big headline here. This is why stocks are dangerously overvalued. The bears are trying to influence the markets maybe a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I know that you just have to be cautious about what might happen if the market decides that it wants to reverse. And by reverse meaning, most everybody is long stocks. So if the market pulls back, most everybody loses money. But at the moment anyway, contrary to around the world, here in the U.S. we're looking slightly positive for the open. Gold is at $13.12, down $4.60 overnight, and oil is at $107.03, up 20 cents overnight. And they say mostly due to the unrest in Iraq and the Middle East in general. And I guess you could say here in the U.S. too, there's a tad bit of unrest. I haven't heard much about Canada, Mexico, Central America, some parts of South America, Indonesia. I mean, it's just unrestful, but maybe that's just the way it is with people. People make it unrestful. All right, so let's take a look at last week. You want to see what happened? Okay, here we are, June 21st. Ended up $66. It was a choppy week. I exited some positions, possibly a tad bit early. And here's what I did. I put down, I highlighted the 20 delta trades in yellow. So at least the last 2 weeks, really the only place we made money was on 20 deltas. But in the past they have hurt the tad. And I only went back to, May. I didn't go back to April. And then I also added the expiration, at least the way that they designate it. At Thinkorswim, this is like the first Friday, second Friday. This is the third Friday, which is regular expiration. the fourth Friday, and sometimes there's 5 Fridays, and sometimes there are only 4, as in June. And I only went out to July, I think, right? Yeah. So I'll be adding them as we go along. But here we are, up $66. 3M was a loser. F5 was a loser. NDX was a small winner. Exited way too early on that. BIDU was a good one. We were in that one for a while, though, 2 weeks. And Amazon was a loser for that week. So hopefully we can find something this week to make some money on. We actually have 0 open spreads right now. All we have sitting here at the moment is GLD, which I may be doing a covered call on today. And if we look at that, and I already did run the numbers up here, I was looking at maybe doing a July, but there wasn't enough premium in July. I wanted to keep it around this 40 cents or so. And I looked historically, and here this was a pretty good premium here. Gold was pretty high priced back in about this time last year, and there's no reason why it wouldn't go back there, which makes me kind of hesitant about doing a covered call, but I may do one today anyway. So I could cover this, and then I could roll it if the price starts moving up. I could roll it up. Usually that doesn't work very well because you end up losing a little bit of money in the process, but you are able to hang on to your position. So most of these were 30 to 45 days out, and I was collecting around 40-cent premium here. Here's 43, 41, and according to the price right now, if I sold a August 134, I would collect 42 cents on it. The cost basis would be 126.32, and based on the price that I paid, I would make 5.7%. And that's not too bad when you look at this and see that I paid 131 for it, and the current price is where? Alright, let's take a look at a chart. The current price is 126.50. For those of you that watched the video that I did yesterday, this is a new chart layout that I have, but I also am going to continue to use the old chart layout, which is here. So gold is currently at 126. GLD is currently at 126.50. So looking at this, we would be below the current price, which is pretty darn low at the moment, I gotta say. So I should put a note in here. This actually expired too. Should put a note in here about what the current price is when I roll it, so I don't have to go back and look it up. I could do that, but I'm not going to do it now. Alright, so that's that. So we'll save that, but back to the results here. I did not run this up to my blog yet. I will hopefully remember to do that after this video. Okay, let's jump over to our A+ list. Okay. And the way that I'm going to do that with the new chart, I'm going to continue to use the old standard chart here, which is just 2 time frames. Basically, I focus on the daily, and then I use the intraday, which is a 30-minute chart, mostly to find out what happened overnight, or any sort of early indications of what the price may be doing. And then this other chart here, if I'm looking to do, say, like a 20 delta, or I want to look at longer trends, we'll jump over to this one and see how things are looking. This one's a weekly, this is daily, and this is a 78-minute, which chops a day up into 5 candles. So we have, this is 1/5 of a day, this is 1 day, and this is 1/5. If it's 1/5, then it would be 25/5. I guess you could say, I don't know. Anyway, it's 5-to-1 ratios. Here's 5-to-1, and here's 5-to-1. So that's basically what we're doing, which is why we have, or you could say 1-to-5 and then 1-to-5, which is why we have the stochastics called 1-to-5 and the MACD. Okay, so that's the way that we'll be looking at this. So if we look at gold here, and this will be our scan for gold, we know that back here in March we had a nice little where we sold a call there, but here is where we actually opened the trade, and it was at around 134, and we're down to 126 cost basis, and then we would drop it another 42 cents if we did the covered call. But I'm still kind of hesitant. If you look at historically at gold, and let's zoom out a little bit, it's been up here pretty dang high. I got to get rid of some of these lines here. It's been up here, up to 160s, and that was for quite a while, for a very long period of time, from 2011, mid 2011, all the way over until 2013. In February it started pulling back, so it could very easily go back up there, is what I'm saying. Alright, that's enough about that, I think. I'm still thinking about it, so I'm not going to jump in on anything yet. Alright, let's peek at Apple. I might just how does Apple look on these charts? Apple appears to be in a bull run with a little bit of a pullback coming up here. Now I'm going to stick to my regular chart here. Alright, so we don't quite have a setup here because we didn't. The stochastic can get up, it's going to at least get above the 70 line and preferably the 80 line in order to give us a setup down here. So it looks like as though Apple may be running out of gas right about now. Not sure exactly what to do, so we will just stay away unless I want to do, well, let's look at the longer term chart. I'm just zoom out a little bit on, I am zoomed out as far as I can be here. I may have to add some more days to this particular chart because it's kind of looks a little choppy to me. Bad day Friday at the close here. That was not good. Not good for Apple. So what's going on here? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I got too much room here on the weekly. I'm giving a little bit more room on this daily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to, see here, settings and time axis. I think I'm going to bump this up, say to like, let's see how 20 days looks. Zoom in one here. Okay. Still looks a little choppy here. I don't know, I'll have to play around with that and see what I might want to do. Still working with it. Alright, so let's I think the ranges here are just way too much. But that's what you have when you have the auto sizing parts. If you take it and go like this, I don't know. Okay, alright, quit goofing around. Anyway, we don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything on Apple unless you want to see if you can pop for a 20 delta, say out a week or two on this. It might not be such a bad trade. I think that when we get this to turn down from way up here, we can spend a little bit of time just trying to figure out what's going on as the stochastic moves down, even when you're in an uptrend, and a pretty strong one at that. Same thing over here, just if you want to do a week or two, it looks like if stochastic is heading down, we have a little bit of price consolidation going on in an uptrend. And this possibly could last another week or so. So even when she comes back, starts heading back up, we still have plenty of time. So might want to consider a 20 delta on Apple. How about that? What might that look like? Well, it might look like this. Say I went out to July. 20 delta. Oh, wow, it's not even showing up here. On the call side, we have 27. And we got these weird strikes. Okay, so we need maybe 35. Let's do 35. Okay, so if we went to 93, no, if we went to 94, if we went to 95, let's look at 94. Oops. Only 7 cents. 94 with a 95. Okay, that's $1. We would be looking for, if we went 5 to 1, we would be looking for 20 cents. We have 17 cents here. Not bad. Not bad. So that would be at 94, and that is up here, and we'd be looking at this for 7-11, 2nd July expiration. This is July 3rd. We got a holiday in here, and yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. At 94. Not all that bad of a choice, I don't think. We'll see if we can pull some money out of it. Alright? Okay, so Amazon. Alright, Amazon, we had a successful trade here with the 20 delta. If we were to look at this, let's zoom in one more here. Even though we are in a 50 period uptrend, looks like we're going to roll over, and we're definitely at a high here. Looks to me like another 20 delta trade. Not seeing on the daily anything that's going to excite me about a 50. So maybe a 20 delta on Amazon. And that would look like around 3. Let's pick 340. Let's pick 340. I like all the choices you have. This is 250, so we'd be looking for 50 cent, and we get actually 41 on this. I like this one a lot better than Apple. Of course, we could widen the spread on Apple if we wanted to, but this looks pretty sweet to me, actually. We're at 28% for IV, and the IV percentile is all the way up to 24. That's pretty high. CVX is another high one. Google is pretty high. Priceline is pretty high. So those are the ones that are a little bit juicier premium-wise than others around that price. Oh man, it's spending a lot of time here. But I'm putting Amazon down for a 20 delta trade on the bear call side. Alright, let's try to move this along a little bit faster. Boeing, I'm not going to look at overnight anymore right now. Let's just try these charts for today. Boeing, I wouldn't know what to do with this right now. 50 delta didn't work out too well. I'm going to take a pass on Boeing. Yeah, we're already into the second week here of a pretty strong uptrend. Second week of a red stochastic, so they don't last more than 2 weeks. Staying away from it, it may just pick back up. We get a little hook down here, and we come down here and give us an entry. I may just go with another 50 on that, but right now, no. BIDU, I didn't mark my charts on those other ones, did I? Alright, BIDU is looking pretty good for a 50 delta. We have a setup on BIDU. But looking over here, definitely in a pretty strong uptrend, so it probably would be a pretty good trade. We did a 20 delta back here. We might do a 50 delta today, and we might also do another 20 delta. A little concerned about the red hook here, but if we get a nice movement up today, this may just bounce up here and remain above 80 or at least above 70. Alright, Celgene. We have a split coming up, staying away from it for right now. Split on 625. Nice strong movement up. Let's just move on and forget about them for right now. Chipotle is marching. We get a little bit of a hook here. This might be a good one for a 20 delta, because we're pretty strong here. I wouldn't mind doing a 20 delta on Chipotle, but we'll have to see what happens today. So if I was to say, give me a hook here and make it yellow. Oops, there's that finger again. That would be good enough, especially based on the weekly. But of course, if it continues down and gives me a hook down here, then we're looking at a 50 delta. Things are getting complicated, aren't they? Alright, let's see here. Costco. What's going on with Costco? Not a whole heck of a lot. We get a hook down here. We might be looking at a 20 delta. So we'll keep an eye on that. That would most definitely have hurt here at 20 delta with this move. But again, we're only looking a couple of weeks. We're only looking to stay in a couple of weeks. And we're looking to pull premium out, or book premium, I guess you might say, over that 2 or 3 week period. So that's the sweet part of this, is only staying in for a short period of time. Yes. Okay, so maybe a 20 delta on the bull put side. Maybe. I'm going to take a I'm going to pause on it for right now, but we'll see how that one works out. I don't want to clutter up my list because I could probably pull 20 deltas out all over the place. All right, there is no doubt that Chevron is on a tear. So, what do we do here? Do you want to grab a 20 delta someplace here? Yeah, we could do a 20 delta. Okay, the Dow. How is the Dow looking? I'm sure Chevron then is probably in the Dow, I would think. I don't know. Dow posted a new high, not close, but new high. Friday. Wasn't able to hold it. Double top here, and definitely resistance here. Are we going to pass it? I don't know. We don't trade that particular product though. And Igor is on a tear, and we could do a 20 delta on it. So they're all over the place here. So during the day today, I'm going to be looking at opening some 20 deltas. I'm not going to list them because almost everything, is this one's looking very, FedEx is looking very 20 delta-ish here also. Provided you can get something at least below this low, the previous low, I guess you might say. Not this previous low, but this one. So, but I think FedEx still needs to prove itself out a little bit better. F5 Networks. That one worked out with a 20 delta, and remember, just a couple weeks, that's all we're looking for. We could probably do another one. I'm not sure exactly where the line would be up here, but definitely there's possibilities there. We already went through gold. Let's go take a look at Google. Oops, there we go. Now it's coming up. All right, Google, we would want to do a 20 delta on the bull put side. So I'm going to put them down for that. All right, LinkedIn. I was just beginning to think I got too many stocks on my A+ list. It's taking far too long. I mean, maybe I'm just too much of a chatterbox today, but looking at it this new way with all these 20 delta trades. Okay, so LinkedIn is in a downtrend here, but a recent uptrend. So it looks like as though it's trying to recover. We'll stay away from it. It's trying to set up for a 50 delta, so let's just give it some time. 3M was not very nice to me with a 50 delta, but a 20 delta would have worked out just fine. Twice now I got burnt on 3M with the 50 deltas, so it probably will stay away. It's probably not a real good 50 delta. IV percentile 7%. Wow. Yeah, it's not a good choice. So we're just going to take a total pass on it. Do we have anything going on with NDX? Oh, yes, we do. We could probably do another 20 delta sometime very, very soon. Looking on the intraday chart. If you're looking for when to enter during the day, here at 13:30, 1:30 in the afternoon would have been a good time to jump in on this. But I'm not seeing anything that I want to note for today. Netflix. Netflix is maybe setting up for a 50 delta. It's definitely in an uptrend on the weekly and on the daily and on the intraday. So everything's looking nice and green there. So if we get our hook down here, then we're looking to maybe jump in on a 50 delta on that one. Price line, of course we could also do a 20 delta. Price line, yeah, we lost and then we won. So what do we have here with price line? Possible juicy looking 20 delta on the weekly chart and a bit of confusion on the daily chart. So we're just going to watch intraday. Yeah. If you enter here on Friday with a 50 delta, it moved from about 11.99 to, yeah, you could have had like a 1200, and that would have been a pretty good trade. But nothing setting up right now. Russell. Okay, we have, I have to get rid of some of these drawings here, even my targets, and maybe just start all over again. Anew, I guess you might say, because I don't like all these drawings. So if I was to go say delete all drawings, and now we're clear. Okay, so Russell, we're looking very, very strong here. Very strong on the Russell. Might be approaching a new high. This is a 5-year chart, so that would be this is a new 5-year high, and we might be coming back to it. So I am looking, it's not a pretty entry here, but I'm looking for a 20 delta on the Russell, just based on the fact that the stochastic is probably going to remain above 80 for a while. So my trades in the Russell will be spread across 4 accounts, so that would be 2, 4, probably 6 positions that I would open on this across 4 accounts. So it's looking good for that today. Let's take a look at SPX. Pretty much the same story here. We do have a new high. This is a 5-year daily chart, so that's a new 5-year high. Maybe just a new high period, not sure, but going back 5 years for sure. And it's at 1963.91. Do you buy at the high? Not exactly a smart thing to do, but a bull put spread, it would be like buying the underlying. You're betting that it's going to at least stay above a certain price. And if we were to look out, well, 18 days would bring us to July 2 expiration, and a 20 delta would be at 1920, which is down here. Looks pretty safe to me, doesn't it? What does 1920 give you? It gives you 60 cents on a $5 spread. How about coming up here to 1925 gives you 60 cents? Well, that's not right. There's something hokey there.
Morning.
So there's something funny looking there, but I'm going to be looking to do SPX today as well. Alright, let's take a look at TLT. That should be kind of interesting on a weekly chart. Haven't done that in a while. A little bit of a pullback here, but we have a hook. And we have what looks like it could be a setup. So I'm going to put TLT down as well for the 20 delta for a bull put. Tesla. That should be interesting on a weekly as well. Oh, we got a nice little bump here in Tesla, but we're getting very close to a setup for a 50 delta and a 20 delta, so we're going to wait on that. And last but not least, wow, this is really long recording. We have Visa. We're in sort of an uptrend, a little bit confusing here. I'd like to see a hook. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth for a 20 delta, and I don't see a 50 delta here because of the conflicting signals. So that's it. Sorry about the length of this recording, but there's a lot of new information, I guess you might say. So thanks for watching. Have a great day and happy trading.